Hello everybody, S-Tier Trader here. I've got a video for everyone participating in ICT's free 2022 YouTube mentorship. There is a brand new index futures delivery contract that we will be participating in going forward in the mentorship. We are no longer using the March 2022 contract. This has been updated for June 2022. We need to be using June 2022 going forward across all three indices. All right. I'm going to teach you guys a couple of things regarding these index futures contracts that I'm sure you'll find beneficial. But if there's one thing that you take away from this video, it's that we are no longer using March 2022. We are using June 2022. And if you don't believe me, just when ICT comes back from vacation, he will be using June 2022. Okay. What does this mean for you? Just essentially this third letter in this contract needs to be updated from an H to an M. All right. So for the S&P 500 futures, it is now going to be ESM 2022. NASDAQ is going to be NQM 2022. Dow is going to be YMM 2022. Okay. So remove that H, pop in an M. I'm going to tell you why right now. Okay. So let's go over the naming structure of the futures first. You guys have these in your charts right now as ESH 2022, right? So the first two letters of these futures contracts is the symbol of the asset class that you are looking to participate in. The E-mini S&P 500, that symbol is ES. For NASDAQ, it is NQ. For the Dow E-mini, it is YM, okay? And this works across all futures contracts in different asset classes, not just index futures. So let's say you wanted to be a bond trader, you wanted to look at the bond market, you would type in ZB. That is the symbol of the 30-year T-bond, right? Let's say you wanted to do commodities. You want to trade, let's say soybeans, that would be ZS, okay? Or gold would be GC. So the first two letters is always going to be the asset class of the futures contract that you want to trade. That third letter is what's going to change. All right. So in index futures, there are 4 contract delivery months. So that means there are 4 different symbols that we need to understand and know throughout the year. And that's going to be shown on this chart right now. All right. So we have been using since the start of the mentorship the March delivery contract. All right. And the symbol for March is H. Why is it H? I have no freaking clue. It doesn't make sense to me, but whatever, it is what it is. H is the symbol for March. Okay. So because we want to update this to June, this letter changes from an H to an M. So now it would be ESM. All right. And then the last 4 digits here is just the year that you are looking to trade. In this case, we use 2022 because that's what we use here. I'll tell you why in a minute or two. But 2022 is what we use. If you wanted to trade a 2023 futures, you would type in 2023. I think in index futures right now, you can go all the way up to 2026. But right now, all we care about is the 2022. So one more time to summarize, ES, that's the E-mini S&P. H, that's the contract delivery month for March. And then 2022 is the year of the contract delivery month. So ESH 2022. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. Let's move on. Where do I find information regarding all these different futures contracts? And can I do so for free? And the answer is yes. We use barchart.com. All right. So this is completely free to use for what we need. So I have an account here. You don't need one. This will look pretty much the same for you. So what you're going to do is you're going to click select a commodity. And because we're looking at index futures, we're going to scroll down to indices. So let's take a look at the S&P 500 E-mini. All right. These are all the futures contracts that we could look up right now that are available to participate in right now. Okay. There's the cash market, which we do not care about. All right. So don't worry about the cash market at all. What we care about are these markets right here. And so see how there's 4 of them each year. So June, September, December, March. So, and then it resets to June. So that's why there's 4 different symbols, right? So June, like we said, is M, September is U, December is Z. Okay. And then March, which is what we just used, is H. Interesting. So you'll notice that there is no longer a March 2022 on here, right? And that's because you literally cannot trade the March 2022 futures contract anymore. It's gone. It's it's now history, right? If you want to look it up, great. Historical data is right there, but it is now closed. All right? So you can no longer trade March 2022. Yeah, you since you can't actually trade it, then great, we just go to the next month. However, that's not our trigger. We don't always do the closest month. Now, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the closest month is what we're going to use. But what actually trigger us to know what contract we want to trade comes by the way of open interest. Open interest is our main concern regarding these contracts. Whatever has the most is the one that we want to trade. Whatever has the most open interest is the one that we are focused on. Okay. In this case, it's June. But let's say it was March 2023 had the most open interest for some weird reason. Okay. That would be the one that we would have our focus on. All right. So it's not necessarily the most nearby. Usually it's the most nearby. But what triggers us is what has the most open interest. What is open interest? Okay, well, in bar charts terms, it's the total number of open option contracts that have been traded but not yet liquidated via offsetting trades. For us, think of open interest as liquidity. We want liquidity in the market. We want the most liquidity in the market, okay? That is going to offer us the cleanest picture of price action regarding these markets. The more engagement that there is via trades, which is essentially this right here, the cleaner the price action. Let me show you very quickly what I mean by this. Okay, so first of all, I'm on the March contract here, right? Let's take a look at the contract that we'll be using going forward. So ESM 2022, that's the June contract. Now notice how this bull move is much more prominent, right? We actually took out this swing high here and the June contract. If we go back, right, it doesn't actually take out this swing high for the March contract, right? It's closed here. You can no longer trade this one, whereas you can trade this one now. And there's actually movement. Now, what do I mean by open interest? Okay, so let's say we wanted to take a look at the September contract, which has much, much, much lower open interest than June. So I would type in this ESU 2022 and I broke trading view. Okay, so you see how the price action here is a lot choppier, right? It's not as smooth. It's very choppy. And the farther back you go, the more spaced out each one of these candles are. You can't really utilize this at all, right? So let's compare this. And the reason why it's so choppy is because there's not nearly the amount of open interest that our current contract, is. See how that just fills right out? It's a lot cleaner, right? So that's because of this open interest right here. So that's why we use the contract that has the most open interest on it. And in this case, it is ESM 2022. So that is the reasoning why we are switching over to ESM 2022. So let me show you watch this quickly on tradingview.com. Okay. So let's say you haven't watched my TradingView setup guide yet, which I have. So you can feel free to check that out. But you'll see in my watch list right now, I still have ESH listed, right? YMH, NQH. Well, those are expired. You can't trade those anymore. I'm going to exit these out of my watch list. And by the way, I got to my watch list by clicking this button in the top right here. So click. Beautiful. I extend it out, right? And now I'm going to get rid of anything that has these H's on them. Boom, those are gone. Now I want to add my June contracts, right? So I'm going to click on my tab that I have here, right? So I've made this. Feel free to check it out on my video if you don't know how to do this. I'm going to add a symbol. So let's do the E-mini. So I hit ESM, which is again June 2022. I hit enter. I can do the Dow, enter. And I can do the NASDAQ. And so now I've got all three of these in my watch list, right? So you might be wondering now, what are these one exclamation marks here? And I'll be a nice guy right now. I'll show you what these are. So these are continuation charts, these one exclamation marks. Okay. I'm on ESM 2022 right now. Let's say I go back down to a daily chart, and do you see how choppy it is back here? And it was because the open interest at this point in time, so in August 2021, the open interest there was just non existent. It was choppy. All right. You can't really see what's going on here. And so it causes issues if we're trying to reference back in time to like certain things, let's say certain sell side liquidity or sell stops. We can't actually tell what these are back here, right? So what I do and what there's the option to do, and what I recommend that you do is use a continuation chart and have that in your watch list as well. Watch, you see how this open interest is all choppy? If I type in, I have it in my watch list, but I'm just going to type this in, ES1 exclamation mark. I hit enter and suspense. There it is. Look at that. Nice and solid and pretty, right? So pretty. Let's go down to a weekly chart. You can have so much data here, right? So you can go all the way back, like even farther than this if this wants to load for me, trading view. That you can see like the stock market crash of 08 right here, right? So you can go all the way back there. No chance you can see that on the ESM 2022 futures contract. You don't actually trade the ES1 continuous contract, but you use it for referencing purposes only. And then if you actually wanted to trade, you would go on the futures contract there. So there is an extra thing there free of charge. That's awesome. And I think that is it. So hopefully you guys got something from this. If you did, please go along on the like and subscribe buttons. Just make sure that you update your contract to June 2022 because March no longer exists. You can't use it anymore. Anyway, thanks for watching. By the way, before I end it up here, you guys are in the absolute right spot. If you're new to my channel, you guys are in the absolute right spot being a part of ICT's mentorship. Like I'm showing you guys proof that I can do this, and if I can do it, you guys can absolutely succeed doing this as well. So I'm glad you guys are here. Just put in the hard work, and you are going to succeed in this. You just gotta put the work in. That's it. Anyway, enough rambling. Thanks for watching, guys, and good luck and good trading. If you want to learn how to set up your charts just like ICT, click the video on the left. If you want to see me hit 5 straight weeks of consistent, profitable trading, click the video on the right. Please go along with the like and subscribe buttons. Thanks for watching.